levantarme nachtig. Siste Yautja uktor tokko ikijojen.
Kids, I don't speak Yautja, the language of the Predators, but I'm pretty sure he said something about the Epstein files. Hey kids, welcome to Hall H. It's me, Kevin Smith, man! And oh my Lord, I'm pleased and proud to be here today on behalf of Predator Badlands. We're gonna have a hell of a panel. We have some amazing stuff to show you, some great people to introduce you to. But first, before we do anything else, how's everyone's Comic-Con so far? Isn't it magical? I wanna just share a quick text this just literally happened before I came up here, man. I was backstage, I got a text from my daughter Harley, and she wrote, "Can I borrow your car?" She's in Los Angeles. I said, "Yes, pick it up at the Predator panel because I'm at Comic-Con, bro." And she said, "That's this weekend?" I said, "What does it mean when a kid named Harley Quinn doesn't know when Comic-Con is?" And she says, "It means you failed as a parent, Kevin James." I said, "You know, the first time I came to Comic-Con was with Mallrats in 1995, which means this year is my 30th anniversary. It is, it's my 30th year. So Harley said, "You've been going to Comic-Con longer than I've been alive." And I said, "That's because Comic-Con is where you get to be a fan without having to justify it in a comments section. In real life, it's harder for someone to give you shit for cosplaying Batman when they're carrying a couple of Labubu's." Harley said, "Please tell me that's how you're gonna open the panel." I said, "No, I'm gonna remind the audience, full of fans, that everyone they see on stage at Comic-Con this weekend also started as a fan, man. They started their journey just like you as a fan, no different than all of them. So I'm gonna tell the audience to be an unabashed fan of whatever media moves them, but always remember, dreaming up stories, creating comics, making movies, they can do this too, and it all starts with being a fan, because it's possible to love something so much, you can go from sitting in the audience as an admirer to sitting on stage as a creator." And the kid wrote, "How high are you right now?" Well, kids, I'm high as hell because we're about to do Predator Badlands, man. Please welcome to the stage our panelist, Director Dan Trachtenberg. Give it up for one of the stars, Al Fanning. Give it up for the other star, Demetrius Schuster Kolomatangi. And give it up for one of the Predators' baby daddies, man, Alec Gillis. All right, everybody's seen the trailer, I trust, so far, plus the reel that they just put up at the beginning. How awesome does the movie look? I'm here to tell you with the utmost assurity, Dan was very kind, showed me the movie. It's fucking awesome. I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite Predator movie I've ever seen, and I've seen them all. But how I got up here, ladies and gentlemen, is I met Dan back in 2006. I think it was. Yeah. 2006, I was a filmmaker making films, and Dan was a podcaster. And Dan's was the first podcast that I was ever on. So Dan and his buddy, it was Geek Zone?
Geek Drome.
Geek Drome, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Came to the office and interviewed me, and like, we were sitting there talking for like 2 hours, and I remember being like, we don't have to stop? Like, what is this? They're like, it's a podcast, we can talk about whatever we want. And in that moment, I fell in love with podcasting. And in 2007, I started podcasting. So I've been podcasting since 2007. I stopped making good movies and started making podcasts. Dan, on the other hand, stopped making podcasts and started making excellent movies, man. When I saw him the next time, you had done
Cloverfield Lane, yeah.
First time I ran into him. And then the next time I saw you, you had directed the pilot for The Boys.
That's right, yeah.
So now Dan has become the undisputed Predator guru at this point. Between Prey and Killer of Killers, you have become the Predator guy, man. How does that happen? How did you gravitate toward that?
You know, I probably like a lot of you, or maybe not. I grew up loving the idea of seeing an R-rated movie for the first time, and Predator was on that list. And I vividly remember being in the back of a carpool on the way to a karate tournament, and all the older kids described literally every scene of Predator to me. And it was then that I started dreaming. And there's a GamePro magazine that doesn't exist anymore, and they had a contest to like design a level in a video game, and I designed a Predator level, and I didn't win the contest, but here I am. So yeah, I mean, and just to say too, like I started out doing podcasts and was a fan of movies and comics and video games, and I came to Hall H literally every year for a stretch of 8 years, and I would wait in line starting at 2 a.m., trading spaces in line like a lot of you guys. I sat diagonally over there 8 years in a row. I was here for the infamous pencil stabbing incident.
You were here when somebody got stabbed with a compass. You were there?
I was a material witness.
Wasn't it during the Avengers panel or something? The Avengers didn't do shit.
I think it was before. But I was here for the first time they showed the Iron Man footage, all the way to when the Avengers assembled. And you can imagine the idea of bringing a movie to Comic-Con would be a big deal to me, and it sort of factored in whenever I would think about making a movie. I would think like, oh, this might play at Comic-Con. Maybe I should do this, but always feeling like if I go, it's got to be for something that really matters. And let me tell you, what we have to show you guys today and what this movie is truly awesome and something I'm really proud of. And I'm so glad that I get to be here with this movie with you guys. And with Kevin, who I would stay all day in Hall H to stick around for your evening with Kevin panel. So
sweet,
yeah.
Man. Thank you for that. But look, we're here to talk about the love for you. And the love for you in this room is palpable, it's real. People saw Prey and really responded to it. You know, it's like, you found a way to take something very familiar and make it completely new and fresh. And so at that point, was that, after the success of that, did they start going like, what about Killer of Killers? What about doing more? Did they try to keep you in Predator world?
Yeah, it was when Prey came out and people dug it, started to realize, oh no, I've got to like figure out if I'm gonna make more of these. And I think sometimes when you make a sequel, sometimes the sequel is just the part 2 of the cool thing, not a cool thing in and of itself. So I really was hard on myself trying to figure out like what would be another essential movie. What's something that hasn't been done in the Predator franchise? And one of those ideas was Killer of Killers that came out earlier this year. And the other thing was Badlands. Yeah.
So Killer of Killers, man, we got a little clip to show some people some stuff right now, don't we? Little taste of something.
Yeah. So we were working on both movies at the same time, and there were unfortunately some bits of Killer of Killers that were left on the cutting room floor, but recently we were able to sneak it back in. So we wanted to show you guys first what that is. I was super self-conscious about what I ordered.
You had breakfast with Arnold?
Breakfast with Arnold, and
get me to the waffles.
So we talked a lot about the things we could make together, and he was very kind to approve his cameo in this, and we can now continue to cook up the things that may be in store for that guy.
So that wasn't on the original
That wasn't
version
on
of Killer Killer.
That's right, but it is at 7 p.m. tonight. It'll be on Hulu and Disney Plus globally. It'll be a post-credit scene, so it'll end on Nadu, and then it'll go to credits, and then that will pop up. So that is now canon in the movie.
All right, so the Predator universe is getting bigger, man, and this time around we're seeing a version of Predator we've never seen before. Take us into Badlands.
Yeah, so, I mean, I mentioned Killer Killers came from what has never happened in the Predator franchise. There was another thing that I realized, something that has never happened, and that is the Predator never wins. And they're supposed to be the greatest hunters in the galaxy, and humans seem to be really formidable and always taking them down. But in thinking about like making a movie where the Predator wins, I didn't love the idea of just making a slasher movie but the bad guy is the winner. I really wanted to see if there was a way to make that feel like still a really emotional and visceral journey, and one where you can connect with the Predator. And so I realized there's this other thing, even more than in the Predator franchise, in sci-fi-dom. We all love the side characters. We fall in love with creatures and robots, and they're often relegated to being the sidekick or the villain, never the protagonist. So that to me was the bigger deal, is hitching people on a ride. I know that it's really fun to go to your favorite theme park and ride a ride you've done a million times. But there's something really special about strapping into something and going up to the tip of that precipice and knowing that you have no idea what's gonna happen next. And that very much is Badlands.
What makes this movie stand out? It has Predator DNA in it, but what makes it different? What is the approach this time?
Yeah,
he's a young Predator.
He's a young Predator. I mean, that's the fun of the movie, is that even though you've seen the trailer, you see our main Predator Jack with Thea, Elle Fanning's character, strapped to his back. And the inspiration for that was the image of Chewbacca and C-3PO. But the cool is that it's not Chewbacca. It's not a friendly creature that you're following. It's the Predator. He is ferocious and badass and very much an anti-hero. And I think of him more like Mad Max and Road Warrior or Conan or Clint Eastwood, you know? And seeing that guy and us being strapped to his back for the gauntlet he goes through, that to me was some of the most fun. And I think the DNA of the franchise isn't just the creature, it's also like a combination of genres. Predator for me, I saw before I had seen a John Carpenter movie probably, so it was really the first time I was like, oh my God, it started out like an action movie, and then became a horror movie, and then was science fiction. It was all those things. So this time around, we're really taking you on an unexpected adventure thrill ride. It's akin to like the first act of every King Kong movie, or Mysterious Island, or any Ray Harryhausen thing, basically, yeah.
Now, Elle, when you see the script, are you like, oh my God, it's a sequel to A Complete Unknown?
I wasn't strapped to Timmy's back in that one, but I, like all of you, I'm so happy to be here, by the way. I don't think I've ever been to Hall H before.
Welcome, Elle, to Hall H!
But maybe years and years ago, but I'm happy to be here. I, like you all, was a huge fan of Prey, and Dan, what he's done with this Predator franchise, it's really unprecedented. And reading the script, what really drew me to it is it has so much heart and emotion, and Prey really definitely had that. But what makes this one unique is that there's no humans in this film. I play a synthetic android. He's a predator creature, and at the same time there's so much humanity and heart and a real friendship, an unlikely friendship amongst these two characters. And I was quite blown away by the script. It's a new genre for me. It was so many new physical challenges, acting challenges. I will say I do play 2 parts in the film, so there are 2 characters that I play. So there's a lot of
dope, man. When I was watching the movie, like for the first part of it, it was Thea. And then when it switched up, I was like, I could see how this would be like acting magnet right there. Like I get to play 2 completely different parts, done and done.
Totally, so exciting. And just to be with Demetrius, and he's speaking Yautja, a whole other language that he had to learn, and I had to learn that a bit. But we shot in New Zealand on these beautiful locations, and also Predator, it's practical effects. Of course, there's visual effects, but Demetrius was there in the incredible suit. So you get to, it's not like you're acting against a tennis ball, and we are on these locations, and I was really strapped to his back for hours and hours and flying through the air as a backpack and strapped to, wires in rivers, and the wires were hooked up to trees and nature, and so the stunt team came up with all these different rigs that they'd never been done before, so there was a lot of firsts for me and for the whole crew. So I'm so thrilled. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Now, Demetrius, this is your first Comic-Con ever?
Yes, sir.
Give it up for the Virgin, man. What's your take on it so far? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel great, It's being with everyone, like you guys are awesome, mate. Like the fans really make Comic-Con what it is. Seeing everyone in their costumes, everyone waiting in line so eagerly, and like the energy in this room is crazy. I love it. Hell yeah!
Now, this is the first time we've seen the Predator in a protagonist role, man. Like being the lead and whatnot. What was it like bringing this version of the Predator to life?
It was a really fun, I guess, experiment, you could call it, and the whole process of bringing Dick to life. It was a lot of physical training in the beginning, just prepping the body for the suit. It is a little bit taxing, but it comes with its challenges, but it's the most rewarding feeling, when you get to hang up your boots, or in my case, my Yautja feet, at the end of the day. I guess a whole chunk of it as well was just learning the language. Like Al brought up, we had Britton Watkins construct the whole language, Yautja, for the film, and I think that's such a cool thing that I'm excited to show you guys. It hasn't really been established, properly within the franchise. So being able to bring that, it's awesome.
How many people can you fluently speak Yautja with at this point?
Al? Not too many. Myself, Al, and Britton, probably the only ones at the moment that can understand what's going on. But
the planet this time around, like we've seen the Predator at work before, but this time you send the Predator to a place far deadlier than the Predator, a planet that is waiting to kill you. Essentially Australia in space. Tell us about Genna.
Yeah, so that is a hugely cool part of the movie, is that, it's not going to Earth. We've never really in movies seen the Predator hunting on such a crazy alien planet, where literally everything from the grass to the trees to the other creatures, small and enormous, are trying to kill him. So it's him hunting, but also him being hunted. He's essentially the Dutch of this movie.
It's a cool idea, man, and he pulled it off. It's really wonderful. Alec, let's talk about, you've been involved with the Predator since there was a Predator, man, since the very first one.
Yeah, I had the great privilege to work for my mentor, Stan Winston, on the original Predator. Yeah, there's Stan. And Kevin Peter Hall, who was a fantastic and wonderful fellow, much like yourself. And so I've been very lucky that I've been involved in, I think maybe, I'm counting them up, I don't know if I'm at like six Predator movies now. But the last time I was in Hall H was when we were promoting Alien versus Predator, the first one. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to be back.
How is the approach different this time? For somebody who's an old hand at the Predator, what was different this time around?
Well, the first time we had 8 weeks, and Stan was furiously drawing, and Steve Lang and Matt Rose were sculpting, and it was a race to get the thing, done so we could save Arnold's movie. This time it's more measured. There's more resources, available. And of course, this is my, I guess that would be my third Dan Trachtenberg Predator film, right?
Yeah, because Alec also helped design all the creatures in Killer Killers. Even though it was animated, we really want to make sure Alec's eye was guiding us through. So, yeah. I think the thing that made this unique from previous Predator movies is that this time the suit was all practical, but the face was open. I think Alec can certainly attest. Usually, the Predator has this giant mask on him with a bunch of mechanics and wiring, and electronics, and someone is off camera, typically Alec on a remote control, moving the mandibles, and that works just enough to get the exact amount of footage that you've seen in the movies. I promise there's nothing else usable that could be on the cutting room floor. And this time we really wanted to make sure that we could go to emotional places that have never happened in previous films. And so we developed this unique system where Alec went down and collaborated with Weta Workshop. And it became this beautiful, beautiful moment for me to witness of old school, but still young at heart and awesome. But old school meeting. Weta Workshop, of course, started on the Lord of the Rings trilogy and have gone on to do so many amazing things. So it really was those masters coming together, and then of course all the digital artistry that is going to support it, and all being driven by Demetrius's performance.
And it was this time around pretty essential. In the past, they show his face. That was the big reveal in the first one. You're oh, and Arnold's got the funny line. But in this version, since you spend so much time with him, being expressive was suddenly an issue that nobody had ever dealt with in Predator movies. Suddenly you're wait, we're going to spend 90 minutes, 2 hours with this guy. Yeah. He's got to be able to show a range of emotions, and it looks phenomenal. And I see, they didn't see any behind the scenes footage. It's crazy. When I was watching the movie, which was unfinished, there are shots where it's completely done, and then there are shots where you see Demetrius fully suited up, but his face underneath, and he's given a hardcore performance, man. Actually, playing the part, man. It was impressive as hell.
Well, if I may just to finish Dan's thought, for me, if you guys who know me know I am a diehard practical effects artist. I've been doing it for 46 years. It's a hill I'll die on and be buried under. But when I read the script, and Dan and I had some heart-to-hearts, and we did some tests and stuff, and I knew what he was looking for. And Stan Winston's words came back to me. He said, "We do effects to serve the story and the director's vision." And I had to really think hard about whether or not an animatronic could do exactly what I was reading. And then a couple things happened. One, the Planet of the Apes movie came out, and that was Weta Digital's work, right? And those faces, particularly the orangutan character, pretty much blew me away. And then I saw an audition tape of this guy, and I saw his performance, and I thought, this has got to be a different approach. That's right for this movie, and that will carry the film in the way that it really deserves to be. So, not an easy decision for me to come to. It wasn't my decision, really. Ultimately, but I think you got to see the movie, and I think you're going to appreciate it.
Did you shoot on location?
Yeah, it was all
Where?
In New Zealand. I really love, aesthetically love naturalism, and so even though we're making a movie on a different planet, really want to make sure that it could feel as authentic and grounded as possible. So there are certainly sequences that we had to build sets for, but most of the time we were in nature, as I'll put it. They were strapped together going through eel-infested trenches. But I just told that to Elle the other day. She's like, there were eels in there?
I did not know that.
Yeah. And there were friendly eels. And yeah, New Zealand is incredible to work there. Yeah.
Kids, what's it like working on location versus like on a soundstage or something like that?
Oh gosh, I preferred. It was also my first time in New Zealand, and I fell in love with it completely. I loved it. We were on the North Island, predominantly in Auckland, and it was so beautiful. I got to go up to the Bay of Islands, and just the crew there, like the family, the teamwork, like that aspect, like it was so joyful, and I sobbed like crazy after this was done. Like I just like missed everyone so much. We really, we were in the trenches, like literally together, like blood, sweat, and tears, and every day early mornings, and you're in the suit, and you got he brought a boombox everywhere too on set. So you're like, when you heard the music, you're like, you knew Demetrius is coming, and he was like carrying basically my whole weight. I mean, on his back. They made it so they distributed it, but it wasn't easy. Sorry about that.
How's your back, Demetrius?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
No,
So,
not good.
no.
It is incredible that when we first started in prep, trying to figure out how we're going to accomplish Demetrius and Elle paired together, the backpack of it all, we came up with like 5 different crazy things. One was a wire system, the other was a wheelbarrow system, and of course some digital support. We ended up using literally all of it throughout the whole movie until one day Elle was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could just like do this just physically? Like, why don't I just trick everyone and lift my body in a weird way to make it look like, and we'll just walk backwards? And I was like, if we could pull off that magic trick and do it practically, how cool would that be? And then we did it, and it was awesome. And then we just did that for the rest. After all those wires and everything, the coolest bits of the movie and the most natural feeling is Elle just walking backwards with Demetrius. It's pretty cool.
We were like left foot, right foot. Had to time it out.
Al came up with that idea a week before we finished shooting.
Some folks saw in the first trailer, and I saw the flick, so I know, and you see it in the new trailer too. There's a soupçon of Wayland Yutani in there, is that right? Some alien stuff in there? What's that all about?
Yeah,
That's correct.
there's Wayland Yutani in this movie. I had that image of Chewbacca and C-3PO, and the idea, I was very focused on there not being any humans in the movie, because I knew as soon as we put one in, that's where all of us would start paying attention to, and then we would lose behind like the real cool, which is Predator as protagonist. So the next thought was like, okay, Predator and a robot. It'll be a really human story, but it's about a predator and a robot, creature and a robot. And then I thought, I know someone who makes robots. And so that was the Wayland Yutani of it all, and that of course leads to even more cool ideas. But I think sometimes people that are dabbling in cinematic universes, there's a seduction to grab all the action figures and smush them together, and I really didn't want to do that, and really wanted to make sure that if we ever do something, it would be a little bit more elegant. So.
But is this is the shape of things to come? Are you heading, since you are the Predator guy, and if you're throwing in a little Wayland Yutani, does that mean one day you're going to be the Alien versus Predator guy as well?
Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool? Yeah.
I honestly, I sat with you many years ago, and you gave me the gift of podcasting, which has made my life so much better and enriched my life. And I was so proud to sit there, and it's weird to say proud because it's not like we're tight or we grew up together and shit, but I was like, God damn, this guy's like the real deal, man. And after the screening was done, you were talking about like, hey man, we're gonna show some stuff at Hall H. And what they're about to see.
Yeah, so there's, well, how much time left?
We got 15 minutes, now's
So
the time.
why don't we just show them the first 15 minutes of the movie?
Yes! Are you ready to watch the first 15 minutes of Predator Badlands? Set it up for him, Dan.
because he poked and prodded and was like, dude, you got to do, you know, I just need to say a couple of things. We come out in November, which is a ways away for a movie like this. It's very raw. There's a lot of unfinished VFX work. The score is all temps where the sound is all, none of that's real. There'll be a lot of placeholders for things. But I know that this crowd appreciates a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. So, you know, take that into consideration and enjoy. Yeah.
Let's watch Predator Badlands the first 15 minutes. Turn the lights off. I'm gonna take a big ass selfie, man. And in exchange for that, when this is all done, you're gonna get a free Predator poster, exclusive here to Comic-Con. And also you can get an upgrade for a screening in IMAX screening, man. So you can take your ticket, upgrade it to IMAX. So, and there's a Predator exhibit at the Hard Rock. So you can actually go walk through it and see some stuff and whatnot. So please engage with that. But before we get out of here, kids, let's selfie it up, man. Can we turn the lights on? Everybody put your masks on and stuff. Nobody give the finger in the photo, goddammit. I want to show this to my mom. Here we go. Many thanks. Give it up for the kids from the Predator Badlands. Thanks for joining us here in Hall H, kids. Have a happy Comic-Con. We'll see you later on.